Edith, are there any targets in the area?
Now there is.
Edith, what's going on?
Fusion!
I got... Peter Tingle, come on. Spider-Man does whatever a Spider-Man does.
Hey, welcome to the Coupled Review. So today, as you can tell, we're doing a spoiler video for Spider-Man Far From Home.
Bobby.
Yeah, no, you're good. And
I keep doing that too.
So I hope you guys are ready for this wild ride that we're going to talk to you guys about. And so go ahead, take us off.
Well,
or do you want me to?
I'm just gonna go. Wait, am I starting from the beginning? Like, am I telling the story, or what am I doing?
Yeah. Do you want me to just tell the tribute part and then you get the rest?
You tell the story, and I'm just gonna talk about my favorite fight scene.
Well, no, you got to join in too on this.
I'm going to,
Right.
but you just talk.
Anyway, we pick up with Nick Fury driving into a town with Miranda Hill, and Mysterio shows up along with the big Sandman guy, and Mysterio blasts him or blows him away, and we start to learn about that. And then it picks up with tribute to those who sacrificed themselves in Avengers Endgame.
Which I don't understand why Cap is on there.
Which
Is it
probably-
because of the fact that he got older and like the Avengers just aren't going to say like, "Hey guys, he survived.
Yeah,
He
or
just got to live a happy
but-
life."
Iron Man was on there, and that was a tough one for me.
Black Widow.
It was a tough one for me. So anyway, then we go forward. Peter's,
Peter Tingle.
doing his whole thing, and he's meeting with the press and all that.
Aunt May is
Aunt May's
helping out.
joking with him, and Happy Hogan and Aunt May got like a thing going on, a fling. And then he says he's going on vacation to Europe, and this is where he's going to be able to ask MJ, and share his feelings with her and all that stuff. And that's okay. And then, now your turn.
Yeah. So I just think it's so cute, like how he tried to come up with all these little romantic ways of asking MJ, and it's just so stinking cute, and it's just so precious.
It's almost as cute as what things I come up with. So
No.
So anyway.
Yeah. So first off, like they think Mysterio's like on their side. They think he's just from another planet.
And they think he's from a different universe.
Because he's from Earth something.
Yeah.
Which technically in the comics he said one of the other Earths, and they've now designated us as Earth
616.
Yes, thank you.
Which is funny because
Stitch
is 626.
Okay, good. You were thinking the
Yeah.
same thing. I was getting ready to be like, am I just that idiot?
Nope.
Okay.
So anyway,
But
moving forward.
So, Mysterio kind of takes on this role and kind of acts like Iron Man,
Kind of like a mentor
to Spider-Man.
Which beforehand they're on their trip and everything before he meets him, and Nick Fury finds him and he passes along Tony Stark's glasses.
No.
Nick Fury passes it to Spider-Man.
I don't know why I got happy.
So he passes on the glasses, or Edith, to Peter and says, and Tony left him a note. I can't remember exactly what it said, but you'll know passing this along to the next Iron Man or something along those lines.
I don't know.
And anyway, it was just a really sweet. There was so many emotional things about Tony throughout this movie, and that Spider-Man or Peter it was hurting him. You could tell, and this was a big.
I mean, Iron Man was literally everywhere. Like the first 20 minutes in the movie, you see pictures of Iron Man everywhere.
Yeah.
Like back room in the back wall in the art room. He goes up on top of this building and looks at a graffiti memorial to Iron Man. Like there's just literally so many things. Like it's everywhere. Like there's no escaping that Iron Man is gone.
Yeah. And it's just hitting Peter hard because he's having to learn to grow up and to be the superhero that he is. And the poor kid, I mean, he just wants to be a normal kid, but We find
He just wants to ask out MJ.
yeah, he comes up with an awesome plan. But anyway, so the elementals, the water elemental attacks Vienna. I think it was what it was, Vienna, right? Or whatever the Italian place is. I don't know. That has the canals and stuff. I don't remember the name of it. But anyway, it attacks. Mysterio shows up. Spider-Man sees him, and then Nick Fury finds him, takes him to Mysterio, all that stuff, and they meet, and then they become buddy. Mysterio puts on. He even at one point puts on the glasses, Edith glasses, and Peter looks at him and it just stops him in his tracks, and
Because
he looked
like Iron Man.
He looked like Tony.
Yeah,
It was, and then so Peter turns over the
kinda
glasses to
it made
Mysterio.
you think that Mysterio's this great guy, that maybe we do have the next Iron Man and it's just Mysterio.
Anyway, he passes Edith to Mysterio. Mysterio takes it, and then the illusions start to unwrap after Peter leaves, and you find out Mysterio is just a ex-worker for Tony who developed the barf technology, which is a throwback to Captain America's Civil War. Was it Civil War? Yeah, Captain America's Civil War. And that was crazy. That was a crazy throwback. Anyway.
Binary.
I don't know. Augmented reality.
Yes.
Something. So anyway, he takes control of that, and he has all the drones at his disposal to create all these different illusions, and he essentially just wants to become a hero, but in a fake way. And he doesn't care if there's some casualties along the way either, and it's really sad. So anyway, what are you doing?
It's today? It's Friday.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay. So anyway, he does that, and then
Wait, where did you get to?
the part where he takes over the drones, and they haven't left that city yet, where the molten lava guy attacked.
Oh. So, MJ and Spider-Man
You find out all the elementals were an illusion. There was no other universe.
that's
or
what I was
anything like
getting
that.
ready to
Sorry.
explain.
Go ahead. Sorry.
MJ figures out that Peter is Spider-Man. She finds one of the pieces to the drones, and Peter accidentally sets it off while they're out on this bridge. I don't remember the name of it, but she really liked it. So, like the bridge. She said there were a lot of deaths, and she's just...
And
Yeah, but they
she-
see one of the elementals, and they see it come to life, and you kind of see part of the fight scene that Mysterio has been making. He's not actually fighting. It's just a blurred vision.
He's making it up.
And so once Peter and MJ figure that out, Mysterio and his whole crew, because he actually has like a whole crew. Like one of the guys from Iron Man 1 that worked with one of the scientists that like yelled at him.
No, that was Obadiah Stane that he worked. That was the main bad guy in Iron Man 1.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Okay, it's been a hot minute. That yelled at him for not creating the reactor and all that stuff is there. And all the other former workers for Tony Stark that had been yelled at and just did not like him, like hated him with a passion, are all there working to make this illusion happen. And so while they're working on one of the illusions, they're going through and running through, and he's like, oh, this isn't enough damage. Full power. And whoever was the scientist that was working with Obadiah was like, dude, if we turn this up anymore, you're going to have mass casualties. If I leave it where it's at, you're not going to have any.
He's like, whatever.
Whatever. I need an Avenger level
Threat.
fight. Yeah. And so they go through the fight scene again, and they start having more damage, but partway through, part of the illusion fails. And he goes, what's going on? Why is this not working? And the guy goes, we lost one of the projectors in the fight somehow. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to fix it. I know how to fix it. And he goes, no, that's not okay. If one of the projectors is missing, somebody's going to find it. We're supposed to keep these things put together. And sure enough, then they rewind and they get into the system to see who picked it up. And they see that MJ picked it up, and that Peter, she gave it to Peter because he taps into Eden. because he made Eden oversensitive, and that's why the drones went and almost killed one of Peter's classmates.
Yeah. So then we move forward, and they come into contact with each other. Mysterio with Spider-Man, and he starts to create an illusion, and he messes with Spider-Man. Like,
Because he
big
thought
time.
that he found
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury.
And Nick
he
Fury
thought he
was
talking
driving
to
him. And so anyway, they go forward, and it was messed up because he created this illusion about like all these different things, like Peter's not going to be good enough and all that stuff. And then at one point, it shows Tony Stark's grave, and his Iron Man suit rises out of the grave, and you can see the skeleton inside it, and it's just really
It's
creepy. Yeah, and that it was like a haunting, like something that was haunting Peter in a way, to keep him from moving forward. And he slowly, or he's just getting killed by this guy basically, and then he gets hit by a bullet train and somehow survives that. Even though he's Spider-Man, I still don't get how he survived.
I think he like latched onto the side
Maybe.
somehow.
So anyway, then they go forward and they're doing a Avengers level threat, and I can't remember what city it was. I think it was Paris. No.
Mm-mm.
No.
They ended up going to London.
London, that's right. Yeah, and then it was a huge elemental that was like combined of all four elementals, and Nick Fury was not buying it. He was like, "Yeah, I think you're bullcrapping." Oh, Happy Hogan finds Spider-Man or Peter Parker and helps him out.
Helps him
And all that stuff. And then on their way
to the fight.
Well,
one Happy calls Nick Fury when the fight's getting ready to happen. They see like the magnitude or whatever. They're freaking out because there's an energy force, and but Happy says like some coded message to Nick, and he's like, "Don't ever call me again." And you think that like Nick didn't get the message.
Do you remember what he says to him?
Something about a surfboard.
No, he said looks can be deceiving.
He said that later though.
You sure?
Yeah, he didn't say it right then.
Oh.
But like the message that Happy said to him was something about a surfboard, like don't leave it in the office or whatever. And
Okay. So anyway, then on their way in through the plane, when they're in the plane, Peter finally accepts that he has to take on the next role as the next Iron Man. He has to take the mantle, and then I think it's "Shoot to Thrill" by AC/DC, the same song that played in Iron Man 1 came on when he was starting to make his own suit. Came on.
And he was making it. He was working with the system.
The same exact way
held it
as
in his
Tony. And it was just,
oh my gosh.
It gave me goosebumps.
Except for there were less explosions.
Yeah, there were less explosions. But it was awesome.
It was amazing.
I mean, oh my gosh. It was such a good tribute to Tony and Peter's relationship, and the passing of the mantle, and the move forward into phase 4. And who's going to be, the heroes that are going to be taking over for phase 4 now that our original heroes are gone.
But yeah, so they eventually fly in. They get to London. His friends are on the bus. They're in the middle of the bridge. They're trying to get out of there. And so Peter knows what he has to do. He goes straight into the illusion. And when he does, he finds all the projectors. And he starts hooking them together. And he sends like an electric shock to them. But in the middle of it, Mysterio figures it out. And so he gets all those shut down. But when he does, the illusions, or the drones come after Peter and all that.
And then and through this whole movie, he's starting to develop this thing that he calls the Peter tingle. But essentially, it's just the Spidey sense.
He didn't call it that.
Aunt May did. Yeah. So it's essentially just the Spidey sense, okay? If you guys are familiar with if you guys are familiar with the Spidey sense from the old movies and the comics, that's the Peter tingle. So anyway, so we move forward, and he's going through that, and then you tell him about the fight scene.
Oh my gosh! So he finally gets most of the drones down, and they start trying to bring up the illusion again, but he can't get all of the illusion together. So then Mysterio and Peter get in this duo. They get in this fight in this kind of the tunnel and one of the bridges. And so in the middle of it, Peter realizes like he's just gonna have to trust his gut. And all of a sudden
It's Peter Tingle.
It's Peter Tingle, I'm sorry.
Because
So
it's
all
an illusion.
all the drones come in and you see them line the tunnel, and Mysterio's at the end of it, and I don't even remember what he said, but he said something and it was just kind of crazy, and then it all went black and you couldn't see anything. And so he just had to trust himself and know he knew what he was doing. And like he was just like drones would just randomly come at him, but you wouldn't see anything till he hit them. And then the blackness would kind of go away and you would see a drone. And then you would see another one. And then you would see another one. And he kept fighting and going everywhere. And then it looks like it's all daylight again, and you see Mysterio and it looks like he's hurt him.
Oh, but through all the blackness, he was doing these sweet like kicks and flips and punches.
Gosh, it was amazing.
And at one point, he actually punched through one of the drones, and you see his arm through it, and he rips it out and smashes it into another drone. It's amazing! Wow, one of the best fighting sequences I have seen. I don't think it's my number one favorite out of all of the Marvel movies, but I'll say it's definitely my top 3.
I just think the way they choreographed it was perfect.
It was fantastic.
And how Tom, oh my gosh, the way he, I honestly think because of his background in ballet and dance and all that, if he didn't have that and have the background that he did, I don't think anybody else would be able to do that fight scene. I think it's one of those you really have to be kind of a flexible person, and you have to have timing. Because timing was key. I don't know how many times they probably had to retake that thing, but I'm sure it took them a hot minute. But so he finally thinks that he's hurt Mysterio in some way, and Mysterio's like, you can have them, you can have the glasses.
Tony would have
which is Eden. Yeah. He's like, obviously you're the real Iron Man. And so he starts kind of leaning in, and when he does, all of a sudden you hear a gunshot.
But he instantly goes, because his Peter Tingle told him, and he dodged the bullet.
He dodges it kind of, but it's because he took the gun up. And
oh, that's right. He forced his hand up instead of. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he grabbed his hand and went boom to Mysterio because he felt him there.
Yeah, and then what did he do? Because Mysterio does die, and it's because of Peter.
The gunshot kills him. Oh no! One of the drones was firing.
The drones,
at him.
Yes, that's what it was.
And they went, but
because he said full power.
Unbeknownst to him, Mysterio was recording the whole thing, and we'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, shuts down all the drones. Yeah. He takes back over control of Edith.
But in the midst of you seeing that he's won the battle and all that, you see the scientist that worked with Obadiah again, and he's taking out a drive from one of the computers that he was working on to keep the illusion going.
Oh, and we forgot about MJ and Happy and all of them. They got trapped in some museum, and they were
not a museum. It was the Royal Treasury.
Oh yeah, the Royal Treasury. Yeah. Anyway, and then MJ here, she grabs a mace and beats one of the drones down with a mace.
Everybody started working together, which I thought was crazy, and I was pretty proud.
And then she runs out to the bridge with the mace still, looking for Peter. And then she finally tells him, look, I wasn't following you just because I thought you were Spider-Man, like I originally said. I was following you because I like you. Because I like you. And then they ended up having their kiss. It was a really awkward first kiss. They were like the weird, awkward high school couple,
peck.
And then they looked around, and then they were like,
kind of another peck.
Mwah!
And then
they came in and they shared a kind of a long kiss.
Like a real kiss.
Yeah, a real kiss. It was really funny and awkward at the same time, but it was good. It was good because it was realistic.
It was perfect for them.
Yeah, it was realistic.
But so then you think they've won. A lot of people kind of skipped over that scene, they just didn't think anything about that scientist pulling that little port. Nobody thought about it.
So anyway, we go to the end credit scene. Yeah, post-credit scene. No, mid-credit scene.
Yes, the mid-credit scene. Spider-Man's going on a date with MJ.
Swinging through the...
Yeah, he takes her swinging, through the city with, as Spider-Man, because apparently she wanted to try it. And she ends up screaming her head off and goes, I'm never doing that again. And so then you get to the final credit scene in the third chapter.
Can I get this part?
They're joking around about it, and then
Okay, so
It
then
happened.
pop up on the screen is J. Jonah Jameson, voiced and acted by J.K. Simmons, the original J. Jonah Jameson from the original Spider-Man trilogy, who is Spider-Man's biggest critic and doesn't like him, thinks he's a nemesis of the city and all this stuff. And it was great to see J.K. Simmons.
That's why I recognized him. I was
Yes,
like,
because
I
he was
know
from
this.
the original
That's
three
what I thought.
movies. Yes, and that was an awesome touch that Disney did. That was smart. Anyway, and he's talking about Spider-Man is bad and all this stuff, and then it shows a video of Mysterio.
Because they were saying Mysterio goes down in history as one of their
greats,
one of the greatest heroes of all time.
And they said that Spider-Man, and Mysterio said, Spider-Man started attacking me and
I
all
don't
this
know
stuff.
why.
I don't know why, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, but Spider-Man's real identity is, and then it cuts out. And then you're like, oh, thank God. And then it cuts back and he says, Peter Parker. And then it shows Peter's face
Where he
rolled
says,
up on the
like,
screen.
tells the, in actuality, he was telling the drones to shut down. He was like, Eden was like, are you sure you want to go through with this? And he goes, yes, full commencement. I don't even remember. But it sounded like he was saying for a kill shot.
Yeah, he said, are you sure? Activate kill switch or kill shot or something like that. And he said, yes. And then it was just like, it made him look terrible.
It made him look like he killed.
Yeah.
I mean, in a
Technically
way.
did,
but they make it look like Mysterio is like this big hero and that everybody needs to mourn him like they mourned Iron Man.
Yeah. Baloney! That is not
So
the
it's kind of
case.
like a stab both ways. It's like,
So,
it breaks people's hearts because I don't know what's going to happen in the next movie. Like, is
I mean, now
Iron
that his
Man,
identity's out,
is
it's
Iron
crazy.
Man going to be like not as remembered?
No.
And they're going to remember. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. But anyway, it sets up Phase 4 because now Peter's identity is known. It's kind of crazy. And then we get to the other post-credit scene. And if you're a Captain Marvel fan, you'll like this one. So Nick Fury and Maria Hill are driving. And then all of a sudden,
They're
Maria
not
Hill.
Nick Hill or
Nick Hill.
Nick Fury. Sorry, you were saying her name. And
She changes into a Skrull. The green guys from Captain Marvel.
Our two Skrulls
And
from
Nick Fury
Captain
changes
Marvel.
into a Skrull. And
They're
it was
back.
Talos, and I forgot the other one's name. But yeah, they're back, and they were Nick and Maria the whole time. And then he calls somebody. Talos calls somebody. He's like, blah, blah, blah. I did this, yada, yada, yada. And he goes, they keep asking me about where all these other Avengers are, and I don't know what to say. And then you see the actual Nick Fury laying on a beach. It was just
using the barf system.
Using the barf system. No, it was
Yeah,
just
it was.
Whatever.
It was.
I don't
because
know if
it was the same kind of room that
But it was on a Skrull
Tony.
ship, so
I know.
I think that was just a Skrull technology.
No, because it was the same kind of room that Tony had set up, and it was the barf system.
I don't know if it was, but anyway, he says, sorry, not my problem, then hangs up, and then he gets up and walks out, and you see he's walking on a Skrull ship, and he's out in space.
He goes, everybody, we got to get back to work.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what?
Because
Where
at
does
one
this
point
go?
during the movie, when they were asking Peter to, like, help, Peter's like, I'm just a kid. Why can't you get, like, Thor? And he says something. And
Thor,
then
Captain Marvel, and he said, don't invoke her name, because nobody's actually called her Captain Marvel until Peter did.
Yeah.
So anyway. So
I still don't know why even as a Skrull he would say that. She helped them.
well, because I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know. So I don't know if, like, some bad blood has happened.
No, I don't think any bad blood's happened. I just think he doesn't want her to name her like a pet name almost, because it's kind of like a superhero pet name. So he doesn't like that. I don't know. Maybe it's disrespectful. But anyway.
I don't know.
So anyway, Phase 4 is underway now. First movie that'll be in will be Black Widow next year, and that'll be interesting. I found out something very interesting. Black Widow is actually going to take place between Infinity War and Civil War. It's not taking place in her past. It's taking in place between Civil War and
there's supposed to be two
Infinity
Black
War.
Widow movies.
Oh, well, I don't know. So.
There's supposed to be one about her past that's supposed to be really...
Well, this next one that's coming up is between Infinity War and Civil War.
Okay, well, there's supposed to be another one that's in her past, and it's supposed to be almost like a horror film, and it's supposed to be really graphic and just downright creepy, which kind of makes sense for her background.
Yeah. So anyway, Spider-Man Far From Home, fantastic. Go see it, and
There's eventually going to be buttons. Subscribe, click the bell button so we can tell you when we make videos, and comment down below what movie y'all want us to see next. Right now we have Lion King on the plan. That is planned. But if there is anything else you want us to go see, like, just tell us.
Yep.
Or if you want us to do some other kind of review, I don't know.
We're going to be starting a new series coming up here called Rewind Review, where we go back and watch old movies and see how they've aged and all that stuff. So
our first one is going to be Titanic, so just be on the lookout for that. This dude has never seen Titanic. Can we all make fun of him for about a week about this till he sees it? Dude, you know they're going to listen to me and make comments about it. It's going to be great.
Bye.
Bye, guys.